just now leaving Motor Club Santa Monica. It is now called MV Agusta Los Angeles, and now because I don't have a fuel gauge, as you guys see, it says full. We did get it reset, so shout out to Mikey and MV LA for doing that. But look at that, no more check engine light, so that's lovely. But yeah, we simply just reset it and it's good. Now we want to see if it's gonna come back on or not, because obviously the issue is the sensor for the fuel gauge. That's why we're just gonna fuel up just to be on the safe side, because we don't want the bike to die on us on the way. So just to be on the safe side, no car wash. Let's see how much it's gonna take. I'm actually curious, just from riding to LA. Oh, already took a gallon. Gallon and a half, good enough. So yeah, this video for you guys, since we have some battery left, I talked about it in the last video when we took my rush to the grand opening of the MV Los Angeles store, which I stand to correct myself, actually, that this is the flagship store in North America, so not even California, because that's what I said in the last video. It's the flagship store in North America, which is absolutely crazy. I think there's like only 3 in the world, so really cool, really sick. They revealed the ass and obviously the Nürburgring replacement, which I absolutely love that bike. And they had the Rush Mamba there, so a lot of really nice sick bikes over there. Yeah, we stayed actually an hour past they closed down, so we're gonna ride back. I kind of wanted to ride down Santa Monica and Malibu and all that, because we usually do that when we come down here, but it's already getting late, so we're like, let's just make it home since we have a little over an hour ride back. And pretty much this video is gonna be mainly talking about a long ride on. But yeah, simply because this bike is obviously, this is an art piece, as I've talked about many times. It's not a bike that I usually take on longer rides, and as I was telling you guys, this is over an hour long ride, and on the way here, obviously it was a very long ride, so I'll give it a long ride review, because I feel like nobody's ever done that on such a bike. How's everything about it and all that? First and foremost, this bike does have cruise control. This one right here is cruise control. No, I do not know how to activate it. I think I have to hold it for a few seconds or something like that, but the bike does have cruise control, so we gotta give it that, because there's not really that many bikes that do have cruise control. The only bikes that I know of that have cruise control are obviously the BMW SM1000 RRs. Those do have cruise control, and also the Aprilias, those have cruise control as well. Oh, actually my Super Duke did have cruise control, so KTM Super Duke has that as well, which also means that the Brutales also have cruise control as well, since they're kind of like, you know, the same all-around thing. The earplug on my left ear, and it's like leaking sound, and it's so loud. For once, yes, I'm wearing earplugs, because I'm like, dude, as I told you guys, this is one of my loudest bikes. To ride for over an hour with this would really be painful. I did that on my H2R when we took it to the dyno spot in San Diego, and that was the same thing, like a little over an hour. That's how loud this bike is. On my left ear, it's like droning. And we are followed by Hossein on his SP, and GP on his R1M is behind me too. Hello, Highway Patrol. So packed over here. So yeah, anyways, I forgot what exactly I was talking about, but we'll get back to the long ride review on this thing. First things first, obviously this is a naked bike, so no wind protection. So if you're a taller, slightly bigger guy, you are gonna hit a lot of wind, like especially on the way here. We're going a little bit faster, so the wind on my chest was absolutely crazy, but that's a given. That's like you're riding a naked bike. It's not very directly, you know, rush related. The nice thing about the Rush is that it does have electronic suspension, as you guys can see, so it does make it like a smoother ride, which is definitely nice. That combined with the cruise control definitely makes it great. This bike is a little, obviously I'm having it on GP shift, so I have my quick shifter turned off because of that. So the bike altogether, like when you're doing stuff like this, is pretty smooth. It's not like jerky or anything like that. I would say this bike is a little more engaging and aggressive when you're doing like normal street riding, like stopping at lights at all. It's not like the smoothest bike, obviously, but I also ride, you know, BMWs, which are like some of the smoothest bikes. So this is more like a bike that's an experience. Oh, that's a nice Ferrari. It's kind of like, if you think about like a Lamborghini, like the Aventadors, they have the single clutch transmission, which makes it like aggressive and not the smoothest, but also it's like an experience. this is how this bike is. Obviously, it's not meant for super long rides like this. This is like your weekend bike, take it out for a little spin type of thing. But since we had to take it to the grand opening of the flagship of the MV store in LA, had to bring the Rush, obviously. The seat is honestly like pretty comfortable. It's a little stiff, but it's nothing like bad. Like it's not, oh, this is like really uncomfortable, or I have to adjust like my seating position, all that. I was sitting the same way the whole way on the way here, and I was completely fine. And now like I'm pretty comfortable. And we talked about the negative of, you know, a naked bike, and this specifically, the Rush, unlike the Brutales, doesn't have anything. At least the other ones have kind of a little bit of a ground for better aerodynamics. They're kind of like the Aston and Nürburgring. They're more track oriented, and so this is like the classic R piece. So this has absolutely nothing, and I definitely feel that. On the other bikes, you do have that little crown, which does help with the wind a little bit. It is a naked bike, which does make it a little bit nicer of a riding position. I'm definitely not as leaned over as some of the super sports, even though the Rush is actually, especially my year Rush, the new one, the Mamba, they actually updated the clip-ons, and it's a little more like upright, kind of like this. This is still kind of like lean forward and aggressive, which I personally like. I don't mind that at all. I like that more aggressive seating position. I don't like sitting like completely upright. The Super Duke was kind of like that, which is nice and fun, but I personally prefer this for sure. It is still a little more comfortable and relaxing in comparison to your full-on super sports. I personally would rather have wind protection. Obviously, I'm a super sport guy. This is my only naked bike, but as you guys know, like there's a good reason why this is my only naked bike, because it is one of the best looking, if not the best looking naked bike, and definitely one of the best sounding bikes of all time, not just naked bikes. It just has such a nice exotic tone. As I always say, it's like the Bugatti of motorcycles. But yeah, riding position on this thing is honestly really, really good. I love that it's a perfect mix between like a super sport, so it's like still a little bit aggressive, not very upright, but it's also not super aggressive where it's uncomfortable. So that's perfect. The seat is pretty damn comfortable, as I said. I would say though, it's related to the seat, but it's not really the seat, which I want to show you guys, but again, there is traffic, so I can't show you just yet. Give me a second right here. Let's clear up a little bit, go straight, and I'll stand up and show you guys. But the seat itself, as you guys saw, there's not enough room. We have this right here, which is the infamous nut checker in every Agusta as part of Brutales, especially for a bigger guy like me. And then, like even right now when I'm showing you guys, my tailbone is hitting the rear, I guess you would call it the rear cowl. I was gonna say the rear passenger seat, but I don't think these bikes come with a passenger seat at all. So it's just the rear cowl. So yeah, there's definitely not a lot of room back and forward. So you're kind of like set in your position at all times. You can't slide forward and back like almost at all without either your tailbone hitting or you're not checking yourself with the front metal piece. Yeah, when I'm like braking a little bit harder, I definitely like slide a little bit more forward. The seat is swayed, so you don't slide around too much, but you know, when we're riding a little more aggressively, I do get nut checked every once in a while. As you guys saw also, the position of the exhaust isn't like the typical kind of like right behind your rear seat. It's higher up, right under the tail. Not an undertail, but like kind of on the side under the tail, which means that this bike is going to be a lot louder, especially if you get a custom mid-pipe like mine, or if you have the full, I think there's an MV option that you can buy from MV, which is the full titanium aero system. I just really like the Rush dual pipe exhaust because it's like a custom Rush /SC exhaust, which is why I don't want to do that full system. And we just made a custom blunt pipe to let the bike sound like it should. So now that it sounds the way it should, it's definitely, as I said, I think just starting it up without any riding or anything, just that idle, it was idling around 121 decibels, which is same as my Fireblade, the CBR Triple R SP Fireblade, which is also insanely loud, and it's also the same as my H2R. So those three bikes are definitely my loudest, and it's funny that they were all around that, or at that 121 decibel mark, just from idling. And as I was saying earlier, maybe that's the part that I forgot, when I rode my H2R all the way like an hour but south opposite to where we are, to San Diego for that dyno day, I totally forgot to get earplugs, and my ears were literally in pain when I got to that location. So definitely wear earplugs when you have like loud bikes, especially this one, because of the position of the exhaust. As I said, it is crazy obnoxious. So even like with my earplugs, I was like a little earlier, my left earplug is slightly had a little gap and I was still like, ow, like this thing is loud, especially when it's constant for many miles like this. So air plugs are definitely recommended. Obviously the rear sets are pretty, they're stock. Yeah, I haven't changed the rear set, haven't changed anything. It's a pretty comfortable like riding position since it is more of a naked bike. But as I said, it's like a nice mix in between aggressiveness and naked. It's not a full-on like upright naked bike. You're still lean forward because of the lower handlebars, or I should say flip-ons. This is probably why this bike feels more like a super sport riding position wise, but a more comfortable one, because it actually has clip-ons, as you guys can see, not like just a straight bar, kind of like how my Super Duke had, which is actually still for sale at Molly Motorsports. So if somebody wants a Super Duke, a 1290 Super Duke, go buy it. I'm selling it for a really good deal. I feel like we've covered most aspects. The suspension on it is great because it has a front suspension. The seating position, as I said many times, is also like really great. The only downside is that how much forward and backwards you can move due to just the seating area, or like the seat being kind of small, not narrow, but small. Because narrow is usually, actually I would say sometimes a narrow seat is nice because it gives you more control over the bike, because you can hug it better instead of like your legs kind of being wider. So it's nice in that sense to have narrower seat, but also sometimes it could be uncomfortable. But for me personally, it's not bad. As I said, the only complaints that I have about riding this for far distance is mainly the sound, because it's so obnoxious. Well, I mean, as it should be, because it's such a sick bike. Not having wind protection, well, that's also because it's a naked bike, so you kind of have that expected. And also, I would say the only thing that's actually about this bike is the gap I have between kind of the tank and the rear cowl. That's pretty much it. It's the only negative I can think about. But besides that, it's honestly great. I was thinking this is gonna be like a much worse ride, just because I thought, you know, the bike is not gonna want to like just going straight for long periods of time, especially with no wind protection and all of that. But it wasn't too bad at all. And you know, the Rush does make 212 horsepower. That's like stock. So now, like with the exhaust and the Dynatune, I'm pretty sure mine makes even more. But this bike in second gear, literally, I could just twist the throttle a little bit and the bike picks up and goes. So there's obviously no issues with power at all. And it's crazy to say that this bike has 212 horsepower, because that's how much my M1000 WR has. So for a naked bike to have 2012 horsepower is wild. Both comparing them stock to stock. Or I think this is actually with the exhaust and the ECU, but not like the Dynatune. I think stock is 208. I'm not really 100% sure, but we'll say 212 because I do have the SC pipe on it, and I do have the decatted exhaust, which, by the way, we still need to take this because I did tune it, but that was before I decatted this bike. So the air to fuel ratio is probably not the best right now, but at least it does have a tune for the muffler on it, which is the OEM SC1. It's not really OEM, it just comes with the bike as an added package that we put on. The 212 horsepower is absolutely insane. It's more than you need for, you know, higher speeds and like freeway stuff. Like it's full throttle, and you can see how like the bike just kind of picks up right away, even at higher speeds. So definitely no issues at all when it comes to power. And yeah, I don't want to make this video too long for you guys. I just felt like, you know, before I was like going to ride this far, which is honestly, it's not that crazy for distance, but still like about, you know, I think it's over 60 miles, 70 miles, a little over an hour to an hour and a half. Oh, that was a very bad 5-car accident. That's crazy. It's still like, I feel like longer than anyone would ride such a bike, you know, a limited edition Rush that far. It's not like a dealer or a commuter, but I just wanted to kind of document that. Like, honestly, there's nothing like wrong about it. Right about now, I think, we've been riding for like 40 minutes or so, and I think I'm starting to feel the seat like a little bit, you know, now it's not insanely squishy, but I feel like even if I sit in a car for that long, you'd start like feeling it, but it's not super uncomfortable. I'm just being nitpicky because I want to give you guys as detailed of a review as possible. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if I missed any points that you guys would kind of like care about. Only other thing I can think of is like maybe like some things that would make it nice, is like maybe having heated grips. Maybe that would be nice for a longer distance. But that's pretty much it. That's something that my M1000 has that I do like, but that's not really related to going long distances. Mainly, I feel like personally is the riding position, how smooth the bike is, which this bike, when you're just in one gear and you're just going like higher speeds, it's a very smooth bike and a really nice power delivery. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But let me know in the comments below if I did miss something that you would be like, oh, like what about this thing, which usually is important for like longer rides and stuff like that. Oh, maybe like storage. Obviously, like this is a very unique bike. So it's kind of like the super bike. You barely have any storage in the rear, like a little compartment similar to most super sports, but at least it has a little something. So I could put like some papers, maybe like ear wallet or stuff like that, but definitely not like anything luggage wise. But you know, it's a naked bike, it's not a chartered bike. That's the only thing that I honestly can think of. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe. Just a little bonus video that I thought I would share with you guys, because I myself was curious on the way here and I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how this bike would be for such distances, but didn't mind it at all. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you boys in the next one. Peace out right there.